And as a result of the law itself, for any triangle right, acute, or obtuse, you may use the following formula for missing sides or angles. A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. All right? It can be in any order you want. You can even flip them and put the signs on the top and the segments on the bottom. Not going to matter as long as you keep everything consistent, you'll be fine. So basically, we're setting up what is considered an extended proportion. All right, extended proportion is more than 2, and we're going to cross multiply in order to solve. All right, so this is going to be computational rather than analytical. All right. Okay, so we're going to do some problem solving. So on the back, number one, when do we use law of sines? You have 3 dimensions of a triangle, and you need to find the other 3 dimensions. They cannot be just any 3 dimensions, though, or you won't have enough info to solve the law of sines equation. Use the law of sines if you're given any of the following situations. AAS, which is 2 angles and the not one adjacent side. ASA, which is 2 angles and their included side. And then side-side angle is considered an ambiguous case. We will focus on that tomorrow. All right, we will focus on that tomorrow. Okay. All right. So example 1, you were given a triangle ABC with angle A is 70 degrees, B is 80 degrees, and side A equals 12 centimeters. Find the measures of angle C and sides BC. So step 1 is to draw a triangle. It doesn't have to be drawn on a scale. We just want the structure. And you can put the A, B, and C anywhere you'd like. They tell us the measure of angle A is 70 degrees. Angle B is 80 degrees. And little a, which is opposite capital A, is 12. So the little letter is always opposite the big lettered angle. All right? Well, we need to find the angles, the measures of angle C, which is right here. Little b, which is going to be down there, opposite capital B. And little c, which is opposite capital C. All right? Now, the angle is pretty straightforward because it just comes from the angles of a triangle adding up to 180. I'm going to add 70 and 180, which is 150. Drag that from 180, I get 30 degrees. All right? If you don't include a diagram with your work, just make sure you include that with your answer. All right? So A is 30 degrees. Now, the only work I need to see is your extended proportion. So I'm going to take the one segment they give me, which is 12, and put it over the sine of the opposite angle, which is sine of 70 degrees. Equals. And you can put B and C on either side. It's not going to matter. B is opposite 80 degrees, so that's opposite sine of 80. C is opposite 30 degrees, so that's opposite sine of 30. From there, it's just the cross multiplying you've done with proportions all your life. If I focus on the left, it's 12 times sine 80 equals B times sine 70. So I'm just cross multiplying. I'm solving for B, so how do I get rid of a multiplication by sine 70? I divide by sine 70. The rest can be done with a calculator. All right, so I go to my calculator and I just put that in. 12 sine 80. And I'm dividing that by sine 70. And I get 12.57. And the problems will tell you where to round to. I'm going to round to the tenths place. B is 12.6. Then I'm going to hop on C, 12 sine 30 by cross multiplying. Equals C times sine 70. To get rid of a multiplication by sine 70, I divide by sine 70. So I'm going to do it once again in my calculator. 12 sine 30. And divide that by sine 70. And I get 6.385, which is approximately 6.4. All right. So again, if you do all that in your calculator and you know how to do it, but that's the only thing you'll need to have to do is set up your extended proportion. So what I want you to do is the same thing with the one underneath it. Example 2, set it up and start setting up proportions. All right, so triangle ABC, and again, you can put the letters anywhere you'd like. So if you have it drawn differently, that's fine. Angle C is 115, which is obtuse. That's fine. Angle B is 30, which means we add them up and subtract from 180, and I get 35. All right, the one side they give me, which is A, which is down here, is 30. So 30 over sine 35 equals, maybe I put the 115 over there. Opposite the 115 is obviously going to be little letter C. And then the other angle is 30, so sine 30. All right, and that would be little letter B. To get C, I would do 30 times sine 115 when I cross multiply, and I would divide by sine of 35. All right. And I get 47.4. To get B, I would do 30 sine 30 when I cross multiply, and divide that also by sine 35. When I go to my calculator, 30 sine 30 divided by the sine of 35, and I would get 26.2. You may want to check your work. Remember, from geometry, the longest side should be opposite the biggest angle. So The C was the 47.4, which makes sense because that's opposite the 115. And then the 26.2 is opposite the 30. And they're going to be close together because their angle measures are much closer. All right, 2 more things, and then you're off to the races. The top of the next page, example 3. The measure of angle A is 40 degrees, A is 9, B is 6. This is a preview of tomorrow. So A, which is 9, over the opposite angle, which is 40, equals B, which is 6, over the sine of B. All right, I'm going to cross multiply. 9 times sine B equals 6 sine 40. To solve for sine B, which is being multiplied by 9, I'm going to divide by 9. So I'm going to do 6 sine 40 divided by 9. And of course, I get a decimal. All right. So when I transfer that to my paper, the sine of B equals 0.4285. That's important. Remember, the sign should always be greater than 0 and less than 1. All right, because we're not going to have angles bigger than 180, which makes sine positive. All right, now they have the sine, we got to get the angle. So B is the inverse sine, so second sine, 0.4285. And the only difference when I go to my calculator is I hit the second button first. So I hit second and then the sine, and then the 4 decimals that I got, so 4285. And I get 25.37. So B is approximately 25.4 degrees. So keep that in mind when you're working with angles. You guys got any questions thus far? All right. So this is the homework that's up in the classroom section and is due tomorrow at midnight. All right. The first 4 involve finding a segment measure. So all I need to see is your initial proportion. All right. So that's going to be 7, which is the one side they give me over the sine 26, equals AB, which is the same thing as letter C. So those match up. Equals C over the sine of 69, and then you cross multiply and solve. That's all. If you want to show additional work, feel free. All right, there you go. So that's all we expect to see. When you scroll down to number 5, you're still using proportions. The difference is we're finding an angle. All right, the one angle they give me is the 103. Opposite of that is 47 equals 31 over the sine of A. All right. Again, you're going to end up cross multiplying 31 sine 103. You're going to end up dividing that by 47, just like you have all your life. When you do, you'll get a decimal. I would suggest you write the decimal out. And then you do second sine, and then you get angle A. It'll give you that angle. If instead of A they wanted C, the setup would be the same. You would just take A, add it to B, and subtract from 180. So that's how you're going to get a segment. angle method. All right, and then the last set of problems, 9 through 12, just deals with a little vocab we want to go through. It says solve each triangle, round your answers to the nearest tenth. When it says solve a triangle, all that means is find all missing dimensions. Which means any segments or any angles that are missing. All right, so when I do 39 and 51 and add them up, that's 90. Subtract 90 from 180 and I get 90. Take the one segment they give me, put it in the middle, so 17 over the sine of 39 equals, you can put the sine of 51 over there, all right, which is angle B, and opposite that would be little b. And then over here would be the sine of 90, and then opposite that would be little letter c. So that's all I would expect to see as your extended proportion. All right. Okay, so that is what is due tomorrow at midnight in the classwork section. All right, for the rest of the week, just so you know, tomorrow, Tuesday, okay, we're doing the ambiguous case. All right. We're just going to do some practice problems working with that. Wednesday, we will finish the ambiguous case. And we'll start with area of a triangle. Thursday, we will dabble with everybody's favorite word problems. Then you will be given a review. And then Friday will be your quiz on law of sums. All right. So if you guys don't have any questions, it is 12:20. I will be on here till 12:30. Feel free to go on your way and start on those assignments. I will be back here at 1:40 for anybody looking for extra help as well. All right, but if not, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow at 11:55. Try to be here on time tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, guys.